Okay, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Reality Room Podcast with Paul, bringing you the latest on Big Brother 22 House Dynamics for Week 2. Okay, guys, so we had a few things dynamics-wise change in the house in the past week. There were some people that were close to each other. Last week, they were not as close this week. We're going to break it down player by player and just see where everyone currently is in relations to each other in the house. We're going to go house guest by house guest. I'm trying a little different format this time. Let me know if you guys like the way it looks or not in the comments below. So let's just start. So let's start with Bailey. Okay, so Bailey's position in the house since last week has, I think, gone down. And the reason I say this is because she has started communicating with Janelle and Kaser, and because of that communication that's going on, some people that she's supposed to be working with are not really trusting her right now. So she's kind of in a rough position. She's still obviously very close with Devon. She was kind of like tiptoeing her foot and potentially saving Nicole this week, which might really come back to bite her, depending on who wins HOH. Now, she didn't end up throwing her vote that way, obviously, as you know from the episode, but still, she did stick her neck out. Her and Devon did. So right now, she is kind of in a loose alliance with with Enzo, Cody, Devon, Dani, and Tyler. But, you know, the guys and Dani and their alliance really don't trust her. She does still have a good relationship with David, though there's no official alliance there. It's kind of like an unspoken thing, really, I think, between Bailey, Day, and David, that they will look out for each other, but we don't know how far like David would take that. But we know Devon and Bailey are definitely extremely, extremely close. Now, Bailey also had an alliance forum with the Janelle and Kaser side of the house. That's Janelle, Kaser, Nicole if she stayed, but you know, but she didn't. Bailey, Devon, and then Christmas. Unfortunately, she doesn't really seem too serious about that alliance. Although I think she's just trying to play like the middle right now. She doesn't really know where she wants to stand. And it's because of that, like, wish-washiness, as people aren't really trusting her right now in her current alliance with Cody, Dani, and those other people. Her position fell this week. It is a Tyler HOH, so we'll see what happens from here. I think her position will probably get better by the end of the week, but she just has to distance herself from Janelle. Unfortunately, I think that's her best bet. All right, with that, let's jump on to let me know if you agree or disagree down below about my assessments, yada yada. If you have any facts you want to add per people, or you want to talk in the chat, just let me know. All right, let's talk about our next house guest, who is also in a very peculiar position right now because of this new alliance that Janelle and Kaser attempted to form, which is Christmas. Okay, so Christmas's position last week was really, really good. I still think she's in a pretty great position right now, but it's gone down, I would say, a teeny little bit, only for the reasons because, Janelle and Kaser probably don't trust her as much right now because she didn't want to vote to save Nicole she was like planning and... Well, anyway, I'll get to that in a second. So she's currently in that six-person, a different six-person alliance, mind you, than the original one I mentioned, which is the one they're actually showcasing in the show. This is the six-person alliance with Christmas, Memphis, Cody, Tyler, Dani, and Nicole F. So that's that six-person alliance, and that's the one they're showcasing in the show. So I guess people are more serious about this one than the one that Day, Bay, and Enzo are in. I mean, I guess. Christmas is in a good position there. Her alliance members have won HOH for the past 3 weeks now. So week 1, Cody, week 2, Memphis, and week 3 Tyler. So it's a very efficient alliance, actually. I'm just realizing that now. I mean, really good for them, I guess. I mean, I know we're all like really want Janelle to do really well, but we have to admit that when they're winning HOH, so they're doing a pretty good job. So yeah, Christmas she was kind of close to the other side of the house. She has a good relationship with Ian because she saved Ian from the block in the safety competition early last week. It was a great move. Now she has that connection with him, so he'll probably not put her on the block for a while. Very, very smart. She is kind of close with Janelle and Kaser, but like I said, I think they're starting to second guess her because she didn't want to keep Nicole A, which makes sense. It makes sense. But yeah, currently her loyalties are to the Memphis, Cody, and all that 6-person alliance I mentioned earlier. So is she in a? Yeah, I would say yeah. Her position is still good, but just not as good as it was last week because she's currently on a few people's radar, but not to like put up, just as like, okay, maybe I don't trust you as much as I did last week. And that's based on just actions that she made in the game, which, makes sense. Happens from time to time. Okay, so next house guest I want to talk about, whose position also is starting to look a little murky with some of the house guests, including the ones in his alliances. It's Cody. Okay, so honestly, Cody came off of week 1 in an incredible position. Like, absolutely great position. No one was really mad at him. Not even the person he put on the block, Kevin, was mad at him, which doesn't really make any sense at all. But to each his own, I suppose. So yeah, so let me tell you what's going on with Cody. People are suspecting that he might be in like a guys alliance situation. People are suspecting that he's talking with a lot of people in the house, and his alliance members are getting a little bit worried. I know Dani's talked to him about it. I know Nicole F has talked to him about it. I know that Devon and Bay have talked to him about it. So yeah, I mean, Cody's position, it's because he's talking to too many people in the house, is starting to hurt him. However, he's still in a good position because his alliance keeps on winning HOH. I mean, one of his many alliances, mind you. He's in alliance with more than half the house at this point. But the one in his main alliance that they keep showcasing on the show keep winning HOH. So, the only people that are gunning after him right now are Kaser, Janelle, and potentially Ian. Ian, for the reason of the fact that he wants to get Ian wants to get closer with Nicole F, who Cody has a very, very good relationship with, and a Final 2 deal with, of course. And Cody has probably the second most Final 2 deals in the game, other than Tyler. And it could bite him, but could help him too. So we'll see what happens there. All right. Yeah. So again, still a very good position, just less so than last week. And that's only because people are actually targeting him now. Like, it's not like he's playing under the radar. People know exactly what he's doing. Honestly, if there was to be like an implosion in his alliance, I think he would be the first one to go. He does have the commission with Memphis, but I'm not sure people in his alliance are going to want to keep him like past like week 6 or 7. It's not what they've been saying, but there's little hints of doubt like placed here and there, and that's just what's happening right now. All right, so our next house guest is also part of that big alliance that's being showcased on the show. Is Dani. So she's also in a peculiar position right now because she's also associating with the other side of the house. People are suspecting that she might be throwing competitions, so she doesn't get blood on her hands because she is working with a lot of different people. You might say it's hypocritical for everyone to get mad at each other for saying that they're working with everybody else in the house when they're doing the exact same thing. And yeah, it absolutely is hypocritical. But, you got to do what you got to do to win the game. And, if you don't call people out on what you don't call people out on what's blatant, then, then you can't really get anywhere. But yeah, she kind of has a relationship with Janelle, but she's also very much going after her this week. And she definitely wants her out of the house. Great relationship with Nicole F. Great relationship with Cody, but like I said, there is a little seeds of mistrust placed in there because they're both working different people in the house. She is in both of the 6-person alliances that were randomly formed that I mentioned prior, the one with Day and Bay, and then the one with Memphis and Christmas. Yeah. And again, a good position, but just not as good as last week. Though I don't see anyone putting her on the block for anytime soon, so I would arguably say that she might be in one of the best positions in the house right now. I don't see a situation where she goes on the block anytime soon. And obviously that could change, but right now her position is very, 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 very good. I think she's working with Nicole. I think she has a final 2 with Nicole F or something, and Cody. I mean, if it's not out loud, it's definitely implied. All right, let's get to our next house guest, David. Okay, so David's in a honestly, after this week, I think he's in a good position. So he was able to save himself by getting the votes to stay. Although he almost screwed himself by, getting Devon and Bailey mad at him for no reason by implying there was a guy alliance, which is really, really, really weird. Okay, so here's an interesting thing about David that I think we should watch out for. And I said last week we should also watch out for him because I thought he was in a good position then too. And I still think, even though he was put on the block, that I think he's even gotten into a better position. So he was actually the one that planted the seed in Day's head that there was a guy alliance in the house. And Day took that to every girl in the house and said, hey, this is what David is saying. Maybe we should do something about it. Yada, yada, yada. So that's already planted in all the girls' heads, and that has sowed distrust in everybody. Now, it wasn't his plan to do that. I think he was just saying, very vaguely that he was that the guys promised him his vote. But because he did say that, he's in a much better position. Now, they think that he's with that alliance, but he doesn't think he's the head honcho or anything. So, if anyone from the other side is going to win HOH, David's not going on the block. And if anyone from the big alliance wins HOH, David's not going on the block. Honestly, I think David's going to be a good person for a Tyler. Tyler has a great relationship with David. Kaser also has a relatively good relationship with David as well, at least on a personal level. So and his target right now is just Memphis, who is also no one cares if he goes after Memphis, really. Not even that big alliance that he's in, Memphis. So David's in a really good position right now, and I can easily see him surviving 4 or 5 weeks without having to do too much. It just doesn't really make sense for him right now to stick his neck out. To stick his neck out and try to win an HOH or something, because he's really is good with both the big alliance and the small alliance. And I think once the big alliance implodes, which I think it inevitably will in a few weeks, I think David will be one of the people that they that's really picking up the pieces from it and taking going far. So that's how David's doing, and I really think I said this about Dani, but I think he's also in one of the best positions in the house. You're actually going to be surprised by the 3 people that I say are in the best positions in the house, because none of them are none of them are in a similar situation at all. But yeah, Dani and David are 2 that are in very, very good situations. All right, so next I want to talk about Devon. Okay, so Devon's position since week 1 gone way down. She had that 4-person alliance. Originally, it was a 4-person alliance that expanded to the 6-person alliance with Enzo, Cody, Day, and Bay, and then they added the 2 people of Dani and Tyler to the group. And since week 1, people in her alliance don't really trust her anymore. It's because that she was associating with Janelle and Kaser, who are the house's targets at the moment. And Uh, and people just aren't trusting her. They aren't trusting the information that she brings. She thought that she was trying to save Nicole A. And she kind of was trying to save Nicole A. But that's who they were targeting in the house, so they aren't too happy about that. Even though she didn't throw a vote Nicole's way tonight. But yeah, Devon's position has gone way down, but she's still close with Bailey. They still have their Black Girl Magic Final 2. Very, very cool. Kind of close with David, but it's not a spoken thing. It's just like an understood thing. And yeah, I mean, I can honestly see Day or Bay, one of them going in the next few weeks. Like I hate to see it, but it's very, very possible. Unfortunately. So that's how Devon's doing right now, and I hope she picks it up this week. Though honestly, I think she might talk to Janelle and Kaser a lot this week, and I think things could get even more spun out of control. But we'll see what happens. All right, Enzo. Yeah, Enzo's in a really good position. His position is one of the few that didn't get any worse since week 1. A lot of people's position has gone down, but Enzo's has gone up. Actually, no, I think it's stayed about the same. Like, no one was going after him before, and no one's going after him now. So, yeah, Enzo's in a really, really good position. I think does he have safety suite? No, I don't think he has safety suite this week. But, yeah, he's just in a great position. I mean, he has the final 2 with Cody. He's in a 6-person. He's in one of the 6-person alliances with Day, Bay, Cody, Dani, and Tyler. I mean, so many alliances. And and Enzo has like a good position in the house. Like people talk to him on both sides. He has a good repertoire with. He has a good repertoire with Kevin in the house, who not a lot of people do right now. Him and Cody both have a good repertoire with Kevin. And yeah, he's just in I think he's in a good spot. He also threw that vote this week. I assume he's going to try to pin it on someone. I don't think it'll work out, but it is going to sow some chaos in the house. And, I think he is going to throw someone under the bus with it. Maybe you know what? I think he'll probably try to blame Ian on it. I think that actually makes a lot of sense, but we'll see what happens. Speaking of Ian, he is our next house guest. Okay, so Ian's position has. So he was not in a great position last week, but he's in and I don't think his positions really has changed, but I think it's a little better than it was. He's not on the top of like the other side's hit list. It is definitely Janelle and Kaser. Like for instance, when Memphis won HOH, he definitely wanted to go after Ian. So Ian does have good relationships in the house. So like he had a very good, like he's still working very close with Nicole F. It's also funny because he said that he would also take Nicole F out. I think he said he would take Nicole F out like before Final 2 or something. So I guess his Final 2 with her isn't exactly legit, which makes a lot of sense because Nicole F's in a lot of big alliances, so he would have to take her out to win, in my opinion. Well, it's still early. Everyone talks about winners, but it's still only week 2, but week 3 now. So Ian also had a very good conversation with Kaser this week. He said, "Hey, look, if Janelle leaves the game, I think we can do some really good work together." So yeah, Ian's looking into that. Ian's target right now is that he wants to get Cody out of the house because he wants to get rid of Nicole F's number 1 and become her number 1, which makes a lot of sense for his game. And he's trying to build relationships. He has that little thing with Christmas now because she saved him with the safety suite. Memphis still wants him out, but I don't see Memphis winning another HOH for a little bit. I think he did it. I think he did his comp. I think he did enough comp wins for a few weeks. So yeah, Ian's in a medium position. I can see him leaving in a few weeks if him or someone that he trusts doesn't win like an HOH or something. We'll just have to wait for the big alliance to implode whenever that shall be. Dave Ramos says he's trying to build a side alliance with Kaser to have them as his shields to take out Cody, Dani, and Memphis. Yeah, I mentioned that Kaser is trying to make like a really good, that Ian's trying to make a good relationship with Kaser so that when Janelle leaves this week, which is who's a lot of people's targets is Janelle over Kaser this week. Most people in the house, although there are people like Cody who might prefer Kaser gone. And Nick F will carry him for a bit. Yeah, Nicole will carry him for a bit for sure, but only a little bit. Nicole F is only in one of the 6-person alliances in the house. There is still the other one with Day and Bay. So if Day and Bay were to win HOH, it's very possible you see Nicole F and Ian on the block together. Not likely. I'm sure they'll take a big hit. They'll probably take a big shot. But at the very least, Nicole F could probably go on the block, and which is actually good. Which would be bad for Ian if Nicole F left, obviously, because he would be the only winner left in the game. So Ian has a vested interest right now in trying to make sure that she stays safe in the game. And so that's really Ian's position, very middle of the ground. And I really think in a few weeks, if his alliance, not alliance because he doesn't really have one, if him or one of his allies does not win HOH, I think he will be leaving very, very soon. I know he's one of Enzo's targets, and I know he's one of Memphis's targets. And Enzo's very influential in the house, which is interesting because he's on no one's radar. All right, next we're going to talk about the people in the worst position in the house, unfortunately. I know a lot of us are rooting for her, but Janelle is currently in the worst position in the house. She is everyone's main target. And, her allies right now are basically Kaser. She kind of has a thing with Ian, and she has a thing with Kevin as well. Which is interesting because last week Kevin was like, "Oh, we gotta get Janelle out. We gotta get Janelle out." But no, since then Kevin and Janelle have indeed made up. She also has a small relationship with Day and Bailey. They promised not to go after each other if one of them went to win HOH. I don't know if they would have gone through with that if that had occurred, if Day or Bay won HOH, but it's still a good deal to have. And Janelle also has a small relationship with Christmas, who was in her alliance, but I don't think she is anymore because Christmas was supposed to vote to save Nicole A, but she said that she didn't want to. Dave Ramos says if she doesn't win veto this week, she's probably done. Yeah, she's not in a great position, although there is always the possibility that Tyler can say, I want to keep a big target in the house, which is always a possibility in Big Brother, but I really doubt it. Especially after those conversations that Nicole A was having with Tyler, like 1-to-1 over the past week, where he was like, yeah, Janelle and Kaser have been doing this and this to me, and it's been making me feel really bad. So I think Tyler will probably see this as like taking out, taking out someone for like the moral good and for the good of his alliance as well. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I really think Janelle's leaving this week unless she does win veto. They could do a back door, which would be unfortunate. I hope they give them an opportunity to play, both of them, but we'll see what happens. I'm sure no one wants to go on the block. Like Tyler would only get more blood on his hands if he was to use the pawn. All right, let's talk about our next house guest. We have Kaser. Okay, so Kaser is currently in the second worst position in the house. And it's only the second worst because Janelle is, I believe, the target for this week right now. I don't think feeds have come back yet, but I believe that is the plan of action, is to get Janelle out. And we very much suspect him and Janelle to be on the block by the end of the week. He doesn't have safety suite. He does have good relations, like personal relationships with, I think, a lot of people in the house. Game wise, though, he's not working with the big alliance. His number one is obviously Janelle. He has a small thing with Ian, but that was really like saying, hey, look, if we win HOH, we're gonna go after big fish, and they'll solidify something then. But that obviously did not occur. He has kind of a little thing with David, but not really. They just have really good personal conversations. And yeah, Bay and Devon, same as Janelle. kind of there, but we don't know if Day and Bay are actually loyal to them. I'd say it's probably not. And then Christmas, who is definitely not loyal to him, and I don't think he's trusting so much anymore. So yeah, but Kaser's position could get a lot better next week if Janelle leaves, because he'll be like a lone wolf, and there's no real reason for people to go after him if he's just all like completely on his own. And yeah, I think Kaser could potentially make it pretty far if Janelle is the one to leave this week. Now, if Kaser leaves this week, I think Janelle follows right after. But Kaser's game can still be salvaged if Janelle does leave. I think some people will actually want to pick him up, and we'll see what happens. All right, next house guest is definitely a fan favorite. It's Kevin. Okay, so Kevin's position has, let me think about this for a second. I think has gone down since last week. Yeah, I would say definitely gone down, and through the perspective of the big alliance anyway. So Kevin was definitely campaigning to save Nicole A, even though people told him to not to do it, and also told them, I think Cody told him specifically, look, don't vote to save Nicole today. You're going to be seen as a target. Is either Cody or Enzo that told him that today. I forget which one. It was definitely someone from New Jersey though. and yeah, so Kevin's he is now close with Janelle and Kaser, and that's why his position's worse. At first, he was completely going after them because they were campaigning to get him out of the house on week 1, which makes complete sense for him. But now everyone, if people start to see that they're working together, then, or are in good terms, then Kevin's going to be seen as like an easy out. And I honestly don't think he'll be making it too far in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, he does have a little thing with Cody and a little thing with Enzo that they're kind of cool with. He has a down with Cody. It's called the down low Mance, which is a fun little thing. He wants to be aligned with the jock in the house for once. Okay, whatever. Yeah, and he's not a fan favorite because he kept on talking bad about Janelle, basically, for the past week. But he has come to his senses since then, mostly has. All right, let's get to our previous HOH, our boy Memphis. All right, now Memphis's position, I argue that he was in a pretty good position last week. I think his position has gone down, but not so much. A lot of people said that they wanted to target Memphis, but early, like because of his actions last week as HOH. But honestly, like by the end of the week, no one really cared about it anymore. The only person that actively said they were going after Memphis is David. Now, Memphis is still good in his 6-person alliance that he formed, so as the final 2, the commission with Cody. Has a good relationship with both Janelle and Kaser. He basically saved them this week from going out the door by not putting them on the block. So at the very least, Memphis did do that. He actually started to build up a repertoire with David, actually, who he put up on the block last week. I think Memphis is actually in a really good position, and I think Memphis is one of the 3 people who I think is in one of the best positions in the game right now. It was him, Dani, and David. I think were the 3 in the best positions. And yeah, he's basically protected from all sides, so I don't see him going home anytime soon, unless David wins HOH, which he hasn't won a comp ever, so not likely. All right, next house guest, Nicole F. Okay, Nicole F is in a interesting position. She is, I don't think her position went up or down at all, actually. I think she stayed at just about the same. The same people that were going after her last week, Janelle and Kaser, are going after her this week. Only Janelle would want to put Nicole F up, but Janelle didn't win HOH, so it doesn't even really matter. So her position's actually probably improved, if anything. Now, she is not in that 6-person alliance that Day and Bay and Cody are in. That's with Day, Bay, Cody, Dani, Tyler, and someone else, but not her. Yeah. So she's not in that 6-person alliance. So there is a. So a Day or Bay could potentially go after her, but Day and Nicole still have a relatively good relationship with one another, so I'm not sure that would be the case. I think Nicole F actually makes it fairly far for the next couple of weeks. Her relationship with Ian could get a little dicey if the wrong person was to win HOH in the upcoming weeks. They could say, okay, Nicole F and Ian, get on the block because we know you're both working together, and then that could be like the initial reason, and they'll say, oh, Ian's the target, and then that vote could easily get flipped on Nicole F because she's a much bigger threat than Ian because she has more relationships with people, etc. So yeah, I can see Nicole F leaving, not anytime soon, but there is a scenario. So that's why I think she's in a fairly good position right now, and basically as good as it was last week. And again, a lot of people's positions have gone down since last week, but hers is the only one that I think has stayed just basically the same. And a lot of people she wasn't in a great position last week compared to the house, but now, because a lot of people's positions have gotten worse, she's looking like she's in a good position now, if you guys get what I mean. Okay. So now I'm going to the last house guest. We have our boy Tyler, who is, of course, the new HOH for week 3. Very, very good for him. And Tyler. I'm on a couple of minds about this. I don't think. Okay, so yeah, I mean, Tyler definitely had to win this HOH because he was one of the last people that was sliding the mugs, and if he didn't win, it was either going to be Ian, Janelle, or Kaser. So yeah, he definitely had to step it up, and he did. Unfortunately, I don't think that he should have won HOH because it's going to make him visible in the house. But I think if there was ever a week to win HOH, I think it's this one. Tyler is easily just going to put up Janelle and Kaser, and one of the two are going to go home. Very, very simple. Although I could potentially see a Memphis thing happening because he did talk early last week about possibly getting Memphis out at some point. But no, I think the things that have happened in the past week, like with Janelle and Kaser, kind of stirring things up, will cause him to put them both on the block, and one of the two will be going home. So yeah, I mean, Tyler, should he have won HOH? If you would ask me yesterday, no. Did he have to? Because otherwise someone from Not His Alliance would have won. Yeah. Should he? But honestly, I don't think it's going to hurt him at all. He's in the 6-person alliance. He's in 2 6-person alliances right now and has final 2 deals with half the house. And all those people are going to feel safe because they should feel safe. They're going to be completely fine, all of them. So yeah, I mean that's how Tyler's looking right now. He's in a pretty great position right now. I think his position only would have been better if he didn't win HOH. I think. So yeah. So I would have said he was probably in one of the best positions in the house, but because he won HOH, obviously that puts him more on people's radar. So it's only for that reason I would say Tyler is maybe in like the 4th best position in the house. So yeah. So again, the top 3 best positions in the house were, who did I say? I think I said Memphis, Dani, and David. So yeah, those are the 3 best positions right now in the house. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. If you enjoy this content and you're looking to see a bit, if you're looking to see the house dynamics for next week as well. Until next week, guys. I don't think the feeds have gone back yet, but I'm going to go start watching some feeds now. So I'm get ready to update you guys next time. All right. Peace. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below.